My name is Dylan Lidge. I'm a strength and conditioning coach. Welcome to the Step Up Podcast.
Welcome to the Step Up Podcast. It's your host, Nelly, in the building. I got home team Allie.
What's going on?
With one of the bros over here, Dylan Lidge. Home team. What's going on, big dog? How are you?
Thanks for having me on.
I was so surprised when you walked in the door. It's been like 2 years since we'd seen each other.
Yeah, it's been a while, and just gone on and started coaching. Just like, your path as a strength coach, like your path just keeps leading down different avenues. So.
Yeah, we'll get into that. You were at Cressy when I met you. We were both there. Where have you been? What you been up to?
So I've been over with the Yankees organization as a minor league strength coach. Right now I currently live in Chicago, but I'll come down to Florida for here and there just because all the people I got to know when I was down here at Cressy, and obviously you can't beat Florida, like especially in the wintertime. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Where are you originally from?
Chicagoland area, like
okay.
Barrington, Palatine area.
And you played ball growing up the whole time and all that? What college did you go to college? Tell me your story a little bit.
Yeah, so I grew up in a baseball family with two brothers, a twin brother and an older brother.
Yeah. Twin brother's got to be crazy, right?
Oh man, he's like, you would think we're not even related based on like what he's looking like. So, I was fortunate enough where, I played growing up, but had some injuries, which is kind of why I got into the strength and conditioning path. But my twin brother, he ended up playing in college, Notre Dame, and then the Yankees organization for a little bit too.
Wow.
So I was lucky where I got to learn just as much just watching him play and going into like the big showcases like the WWBA or the Colonels. So I got to like experience that through a different perspective, which honestly, like looking back on it, kind of helped me as like a coach.
Yeah. That's pretty sick. So
when did you make that? Sorry.
Go ahead.
When did you make that switch from playing or like kind of seeing the future as a player to I'm gonna maybe step on the other side of the game?
Yeah, part of that was growing up. I wanted to play as long as I could, and if I knew like when I was done playing, I had to coach anyways. I had some injuries growing up, which is like I said, like part of the reason why I got into what I'm doing now. So I kind of made that transition when I went to University of Illinois. When I got into that school, that was like my number one. So I thought, hey, I'll just play club ball, get a good education, and then, be able to watch my brother on the weekends because he's my twin brother. So Notre Dame's like 2.5, 3 hours away. So it ended up being perfect.
Show love, get some support. That's awesome.
No, that is pretty dope. So what is the main thing now? You're big on the body. You're doing it. Are you still working at Cressy's? Or are you moving around? Or you're just the baseball guy?
So for Cressy's, I was there for about 2.5, 3 years, and then 2023 is when I started working in pro ball.
Nice.
So that transition from Cressy to pro ball was seamless. Just like understanding how to communicate with pitchers, with athletic trainers, with physical therapists. Like that's the biggest thing is like being able to collaborate with other coaches and other medical staff, and even like pitching coaches, hitting coaches. Like if you can do that, and speak the language, that'll separate you as like a strength coach and buy in some trust from the players and the coaches.
So your big thing right now is it easier to like help big leaguers or kids for you? I feel like big leaguers are like stuck in their ways. You gotta break them out. Yeah,
it's having that feel and like understanding like, hey, he's a big leaguer for a reason. What he does well, what you need to push him to do, and that's just communication and like. It's probably more of a relationship area as you get older. Like a guy who's been in the league for 5 years, I'll have my like ideas, but you got to listen to what he's done and guide himself there. Versus like the younger kids, like you're their guidance. You're they're looking for guidance, and you're kind of teaching them like how to get to that path or how to get to where they want to go. So like there's a little bit more coaching and lessons learned from that area.
Okay.
Communication's everything.
The biggest thing is that. So what would you say position wise? Because what can you give one of these kids if you're a pitcher or you're an outfielder, an infielder, right? Is it two different ways to take care of your body, or you're both training the same? What would you say in your opinion?
As for like when you talk about younger athletes, at the end of the day, like I stress just be the best athlete you can. When you
Amen.
start falling into one way too much or start doing the same things over and over again, especially as a pitcher,
Yeah.
you repeat your delivery, you're playing catch like all the time. The more athletic you can be, the better you can give yourself like the ability to set yourself up to like do different things, like be able to like play different positions, be able to like just be able to help yourself mechanically. Let's say if you're a pitcher struggling throwing, like the athletic ones are able to find like their command easier, like be able to like adjust easier in their mechanics versus the guys who like kind of are just like known as pitchers or did one thing growing up. Like it's a little bit, harder sometimes.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, to be a better athlete, in your opinion, again, I'm only asking stuff because this is your field. You know, I know what I would tell my guys as a coach. But would you preach multiple sports? Would you think like, hey, if you're gonna perfect your craft here, what would you say to these guys?
100% multiple sports. It's like, especially me being like older now and seeing like younger kids train, like the kids who play multiple sports are the ones that are like able to adapt, able to like figure things out on their own. And that's marching, skipping, running, jumping, like those kids, like, because I'll help out with a younger travel team, the 12-year-olds, and my goal for them is like, can they skip, can they march, can they bound, can they jump, can they change directions? Like those things are the most impactful, because when they're at that age, like that's when you develop your fast twitch, like being able to sprint. Like it's easier to get a faster guy strong than a stronger guy fast, and if you can develop that characteristic at that age, like that's a game changer. So like usually the kids who are playing multiple sports are the ones that are like it's easier to like adapt
To
or
move around and
exactly.
I like that. That makes sense to me. I'm big on multiple sports. You got to play multiple sports, And I always say to everybody, they draft athletes in every sport. They don't draft a baseball player. They don't draft a basketball. They draft an athlete.
And athletes stay healthy.
You got to stay healthy.
And speed's king. Like if you've got speed, you'll find a way on the field.
Some way, somehow.
Exactly.
You can't. It's hard to teach speed. You could gain speed, but it's hard for me to be like, you're fast. Like you're fast. You're MLB fast.
The top sprinters, like they can produce up to 5 times force into the ground when they're running. So like you could say, hey, he's just sprinting, but you're actually like it's another form of strength training.
Yeah.
Being able to like pattern and like be able to time yourself up.
No, that's pretty sick right there. So you're big on the body. I love that. So talk to me. I see you wearing to compete.
Yeah.
I had Peter here, Strzelecki. He jumped on the podcast one time. Strzelecki, whatever the hell they call him.
Strzelecki.
Lecce. Yeah, talk to me about it, because he brought it up, and it's cool that you're wearing his gear and stuff. I want to see what you think about it.
How do you two know each other? How do you and Peter know each other?
So Pete, I actually met him at Cressy, and I remember another trainer introduced me to him. He's over at the slide board with like his hoodie on. I'm like, all right, what's up, man? And then the next year, actually, it was one of the coaches, Kaplan. He actually introduced us, and I kind of took over that program. But we developed that relationship there, just being able to communicate and like working with him and understanding like how he throws. And so like from there, this relationship kind of just like took off, because we just were able to like vibe pretty quickly.
That's awesome. What were your days at Cressy like? Just because I kind of knew your schedule was around you back then. How has it shifted as you've gone to working for an organization? Like, what is your schedule like? Are you kind of in a facility all day long around the same type of guys? You work more one-on-one with guys, or what's it like on that side of the game in the business?
It just depends on like kind of the day and like time of year. So like I said, it was seamless transition, like being able to like go from a private to like organization that's more of a business. There are definitely some different like aspects to it, but like from what I learned at Cressy and taking like those skills and like relationships and like being able to transfer it over to like minor leagues and pro baseball, like it was pretty like seamless in my opinion. Yeah.
Awesome.
Dang, that's pretty cool to end up, you got hurt, whatever, your brother played for the Yankees, and you got to work for the Yankees. That's pretty cool. Did you get to, train your brother? Get to coach him up a little bit?
Yeah, so with Ryan, like there were definitely like when he was playing, like we would go back and forth on like, hey, what's this and that? Like, hey, you should be doing this here. But actually, I have an older brother that is a strength conditioning coach with the Phillies org, and he's the one that mentored me and kind of helped him out.
That's fine. Ring the bell. You know where we're at.
So that was something that we both learned from him. So he's kind of like the top guy.
Oh, that's sick. That's sick. So you guys are a whole family into it.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty awesome. Well, real quick, I just wanted to get you on here. You got anything for Big Dog?
Not at all. I know we kind of skipped over the hat and stuff and
Yeah.
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
mentioned
Yes,
you,
yeah.
but I just close up on it or mention it, whatever you have to say about it. It's a sweet movement, Pete.
When I'm down in Florida, like, Pete's running his travel team, so I'm able to come along and, help with, different warm-ups or like strength conditioning, especially like at their age, like we're talking about, can you skip, can you run, can you sprint? So just incorporating that with some of the younger kids and has, been a game changer for them. And like, whether it's incorporated in the warm-up or later in conditioning, it's been fun to like impact like the younger age. And I know what it was like for me growing up at that age and how much those coaches had an impact on me. So like that's something that's
and
cool.
you're around some good kids too. I mean, I go watch that team once in a while, and those kids suck up anything you come up. Pete comes around, he's a god to them. So when he brings all his friends, and they all want to learn. I like that. That's cool. I love impacting the game, and I love travel ball. I'm big on it. I sell it. I'm all in.
I love you guys that are in like the pro world that also just giving it right back to the kids.
It's the point, right? It's a kid's game. Without those, there's no fans. You got nobody.
Yeah, right.
You got nobody. You need them. Yeah. So, but again, I really appreciate you being on here. This is huge. Shout out to Dylan. Shout out to Compete.
So good to see you.
This is Rap right here. This is your host, Big Nelly in the building. Got my host, Allie. Home team. Appreciate you, Big Dog. Be out of here.
Appreciate you guys.